Okay, well, before we begin officially our U at U of C presentation this morning, again, if you've just joined, my name is Carrie Galbranson. I am the undergraduate program director in the Calgary location. And I would like to start by sharing a land acknowledgement. This is a priority shared by the Faculty of Social Work Community and the University of Calgary to honor Indigenous people and communities in Canada and locally. And we also devote our time and effort to discussing how we can work together to be better guests on the land and how we can take care of the land and the people who live on it. We acknowledge the homeland of the many diverse First Nations and Métis people whose ancestors have walked this land since time immemorial. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. I'm grateful to work, live, and learn on the traditional territory of Treaty 7, understanding that you may be tuning in from other locations. So this is the QR code. This is your, if you did want to take a snapshot of that for your participation. And it says the 2023, but I'm pretty sure what was meant is the 2024. So if you do want to, and I'll bring this up at the end as well. That's the QR code for today. So what I'm going to do, because I know that you will have researched the University of Calgary Faculty of Social Work programs already to decide which program you'll apply to. So you'll already have the kind of basic information about the faculty. And so what I'll do is share some kind of information that you may not have run across in your research process in deciding to apply to the faculty, and hopefully give you a bit of an pre-orientation to the Faculty of Social Work at the University of Calgary. I have taught in the Faculty of Social Work for about 8 years now, and I really value and love the opportunity to be part of BSW students programs, and also to keep in touch with students that are out in the field. So I find it really rewarding to hear from students in the field, really doing some interesting and fulfilling and worthwhile roles with their BSW. And I'll touch on, just where people have ended up and practicum and work roles during this presentation. So as indicated on this slide, the Faculty of Social Work has a steadfast commitment to equity, diversity, inclusion, and decolonization. And you'll really see this priority woven through the programs and research and all the work that we do in the Faculty of Social Work. So it's certainly something that you'll delve into quite deeply in the courses in your programs and in your practicum. And of course, it's also EDID, or equity, diversity, inclusion, and decolonization, is also a strategic priority at the University of Calgary level. So now we're going to get into a bit more about the BSW program itself and what will you learn in the BSW program. So here are some themes that are represented in our curriculum, and we have a newly redesigned and updated BSW program that you'll be part of. So I think, we're all very excited to launch our updated BSW program, and you'll learn about professional values and ethics, human rights. You'll also be prepared with the essential communication, helping, and professional skills for working with individuals, groups, and communities. Again, of course, diversity, equity, and inclusion. You'll learn about the history of Indigenous peoples in Canada and the relationship that the social work profession has had with Indigenous peoples and communities. You'll have a chance to learn about Indigenous ways of knowing, being, doing, and connecting. You'll also learn about social justice responses to racism and anti-Black racism, climate and environmental justice. You'll learn about policy analysis and development, research skills. You'll also develop advocacy skills and skills for critical thinking and reflection. So those are some of the broad themes that are represented in our BSW curriculum. I think this is a particularly exciting part of working in the Faculty of Social Work and as a BSW student, of course, not only through the library where you have access to all the latest research in the social work and health professions, but you'll have the chance to learn directly from top-notch, internationally recognized social work researchers who are doing some pretty incredible work in the field. So these are, and I'd just like to share some of the names with you, and there's certainly, this is only kind of the, some of the people who are doing amazing work in the Faculty of Social Work. We have a large faculty, so there are many more folks that are not mentioned here. But we have Dr. Gina Dimitropoulos, who is doing cutting-edge research on, in particular, youth and youth mental health and eating disorder treatment and research. We have Dr. Angelique Jenny, who is the Woods Homes Research Chair, and Woods Homes is a child mental health organization in Calgary. Angelique does research on family-based interventions for childhood trauma and research related to child protection and family violence. Dr. Regine King has done international research and continues to do international research connected to healing processes in post-genocide Rwanda. Lana Wells runs the SHIFT project in domestic violence, which is affiliated with the Faculty of Social Work, and she's also the chair of the Brenda Strafford Chair in prevention of domestic violence. Dr. Victoria Burns is doing very innovative research on recovery. So she has developed a recovery campus that's located in the Calgary location and available to all students and staff in all faculties. And she's also our representative on the campus mental health strategy, substance and harm reduction subcommittee. Dr. Kathleen Sitter does creative research in multisensory research and knowledge translation. And what that means, there's different ways to express knowledge. So kind of moving beyond written forms, such as journal articles, recognizing that there's many more ways to conduct and share research knowledge. And Dr. Caroline Tate, who is a Métis scholar and a representative on Canadian Institute of Health Research Governing Council. Her research is concerned with Indigenous health equity and inclusion. So again, this is really just a sample of the really incredible research that social work faculty members are doing. Something else I think that's worth mentioning and that you might like to know about are the many free opportunities for extracurricular professional development beyond your BSW coursework that you have available to you to enrich your social work learning. So even, some upcoming examples, and, many of these are also available to the practice community. And I know many of you are part of the practice community already, but you have the chance to register. I would say most of the workshops and opportunities are free, although there are some specific trainings for which the hosts charge. But these three examples certainly are ones that are available free of charge and upcoming. So this just gives you an idea of the kind of, kind of training that you will see. And these trainings give you a chance to explore your professional areas of interest in greater depth. As well, the Faculty of Social Work is home to Gipatoyas, and Gipatoyas is the Grandmother's Lodge. It's an Indigenous social work circle and lodge that's located in the Faculty of Social Work at the Calgary campus location. And a bit of history there, Gipatoyas, Grandmother's Lodge, is the name that was gifted to the lodge by Clarence Wolflag, who is a Blackfoot elder. So we had a ceremony in which Clarence, Elder Clarence, shared the name Gipatoyas, and that is the name of the social work circle and lodge. And although they do definitely do in-person kind of opportunities to participate in ceremony and other types of learning, they also regularly offer virtual events that are typically hosted by elders and knowledge keepers that provide some learning opportunities beyond course learning. And if you're interested in learning more about Gipatoyas, then you could follow this link from the Faculty of Social Work website to see what kinds of events are offered there. So getting into a bit of information about the actual courses that you will take. So the skills-focused BSW courses will be taken by university transfer and after degree students. If you're a post-diploma student, we recognize that you come with these skills, having taken skills-focused courses already. So these won't be required for post-diploma students, but if you're new to social work, then you will engage in these series of 3 courses that will build up your practical skill set that will prepare you for practicum and social work practice. So there's the 3 courses, and the emphasis in these 3 courses will be on communication, relationship building, and helping skills. So when we talk about helping skills, that can mean everything from relationship building to assessment, to intervention, to advocacy. So encompassing those, and these 3 courses will build connections across micro, meso, and macro practice, and across practice with individuals, families, groups, and communities. And we actually have a combination of faculty, but also community instructors who are directly connected to practice, many of whom teach these courses and bring their practice wisdom and firsthand knowledge about social work practice to their teaching of these courses. So what's new and exciting in the BSW program? Our redesign has resulted in some very specific courses that align with our Faculty of Social Work strategic priorities. So here are a few of those titles, and I'll just give you a brief overview of each of these. So the Indigenous Peoples, Histories, Cultures, and Healing Practices course is designed to give all students an accurate and in-depth understanding of certainly of the history, but also to introduce the diversity among Indigenous peoples and communities, and an introduction to some Indigenous healing practices that are adopted by and implemented by Indigenous social workers and Indigenous elders and knowledge keepers. The Afrocentric social work practice will introduce students to the history of Black communities in Canada, and also introduce the resilience and leadership and contributions to scholarship by Black scholars, activists, and social workers. Our multiple dimensions of mental health course provides a social work perspective on mental health and addictions and will prepare you to meet the growing demands in the profession. Our green social work and sustainability course will focus on the connection between social work and environmental justice and talk about how forces like climate change and natural disasters influence individual and community well-being. And finally, social work practice in an interconnected world will connect social work issues locally to social work issues globally. So I'm anticipating that the next topic that I'll be talking about will be of considerable interest to you, practicum and the new BSW program. So along with the rest of the BSW program, the practicum component of the BSW program has also been redesigned. And while it was always, of course, an important and integral feature of the program, now it's even more interconnected and integrated into the entire curriculum. So it's very student-centered, our approach to practicum. We have an incredible practicum field education team that matches students with practicum placements and supports students throughout their practicum. So, and as you complete your practicum, you'll have a corresponding seminar that is part of your practicum learning. So for post-diploma students, I think it's important to mention that post-diploma students will take one practicum, and university transfer and after degree students will be completing 2 practicums. So what does practicum look like? Again, there's a corresponding practicum seminar that you take while you're doing practicum. We have our phenomenal field education team, and you'll be supported from practicum from day one. So you'll have that chance to connect with the practicum team, and that door is always open, but in addition, there'll be information sessions held for each cohort. So what I would encourage you to do is research areas and organizations of interest in your communities. If you're wanting to know about what, could you possibly do to prepare for practicum, I know, that's an aspect of the program, an unknown that we get a lot of questions about. So I think, if you're looking around your local community or where you're going to be living while you're doing your program, take a look at some of the community organizations, what you might be interested in. And something important to know is that many organizations that the Faculty of Social Work partners with have a distinct process in place for practicum opportunities. So for this reason, advise against contacting organizations directly to try and organize practicums ahead of time. When you begin your program, you'll be able to consult with the field team about specific organizations, and it's possible that some you may be able to contact directly, but others have this very distinct application process in place that you need to follow if you're interested in doing a practicum with that organization. And for university transfer and after degree students, you'll have a course in your first semester that prepares you for your winter practicum. So the course will provide guidance, navigating research, and exploring opportunities in your community. So really designed with that kind of support and guidance in mind. For practicum. So we're all very excited about community engaged practicum and looking forward to that being a fabulous and fulfilling experience for students. So to give you an idea of what practicum can look like, and really the practicum placements for BSW students are very diverse. Here's some examples. So there's the, opportunities with government organizations. So if students are interested in going into child and family work, of course, Government of Alberta Children and Family Services takes BSW practicum students. We have healthcare organizations, so Alberta Health Services, primary care networks host BSW practicums. Then in every community, there are not-for-profit organizations. And here are a couple of examples from Calgary. So for example, Woods Homes, Caria in Calgary, Trellis, Discovery House, which is a second stage shelter. There are schools, so Calgary Board of Education, similarly in Edmonton, school social work is an emerging area. So we are seeing more practicums available in school settings. And sometimes that's an external agency that goes into a school, but sometimes, it's working directly with the school board itself and the staff. There are also practicums available within the University of Calgary, so within leadership programs, specific programs and services within the university. Wellness services, for example, does sometimes host practicums for BSW students. And then we also have research and self-directed practicum placements hosted by the Faculty of Social Work. So that might involve working with specific programs. For example, we have a program called Transforming the Field Education Landscape, which has since been kind of shortened to TEFL, but TEFL hosts a number of BSW student practicums every year. And then there can be practicums with individual faculty members working on research projects or community engagement initiatives. So I think you can see even from this snapshot, how broad the possibilities really are. So again, for community engaged practicum, for universities transfer students and after degree students, recognizing that you're going to be new to the social work profession. And so community engaged practicum is designed to kind of socialize you into the social work profession, and engage you in an inquiry process to see where you fit in to your local community and how you might engage by doing a practicum. So there'll be a fairly extensive orientation process where you don't just suddenly find yourself in community. You're really going to be doing a research process around that, having the support of your peers and instructors to do that, and determining what you want to learn in your practicum. So that by the time you get to the winter semester, you're going to feel very well oriented in terms of expectations and what your practicum will involve. And of course, post-diploma students will also have support with your practicum. You'll do your practicum if you're a post-diploma student in the fourth year. So you'll do your coursework in the third year and move into your practicum in the fourth year, recognizing that you will have already done 2 practicums in your diploma program. So I'm going to stop share and we'll have a chance to chat a bit more informally. So thank you for your introductions. Now I can see those, and I'm going to turn off the record now, or maybe I can keep that going so we can keep track of our questions actually. That might be better to do. Okay, so that was a kind of a whirlwind of information that I've just shared with you, and I hope that some of it was useful to you, but I recognize that you may have other questions that you want to ask about the program. So Danielle, I see you put a question in the chat window, so you can definitely put your questions in the chat window. And a diploma student, Danielle, taking the online BSW, so welcome to the online program. And you're wondering if the online BSW will be Okay, oh, sorry, that was Brandy. Okay, Brandy, so Brandy, could I ask you to elaborate on your question? Is there any specific program, course that you're wondering about?
Sorry, I had put that in when you had put up the 3 courses that were being offered that we could partake in. I was just wondering if those were being offered online.
Those are offered online. However, as a post-diploma student, you won't be required to take the skills focus courses. But all of the courses for the online, there's no residency requirement or no in-person requirement. So all of your courses will be offered online, and they'll be offered in a Zoom format, just like we're doing now. So that's kind of the way that those courses will be delivered. And there's the Zoom component, but then there's also, we use a learning management system called D2L. And all of your kind of course materials, course outline, course resources will be housed in the D2L shell. So the synchronous part, or the kind of in real time part, will take place on Zoom. But then there'll be, the D2L shell, which will kind of house all of the readings and kind of your go-to place for each course. So I hope that makes sense. Hey, any other questions? Okay, Madeline, so Madeline asks, I noticed that some courses have a tutorial element with them. Okay, Madeline, are you referring to in the timetable or calendar? Okay, thank you, Brandy, for clarifying that. Those additional learnings, those okay, yeah. I'll return to Madeline, actually. Madeline, could I ask you to elaborate on your question? Hey, Madeline, I'm wondering if you're thinking of the scheduled course. So when the course is scheduled for, that would be the online component. Madeline, are you meaning the online courses or the blended in-person blended courses? Yeah, I'll try and speak to how the courses are timetabled. So all of the courses will have a weekly time when the course is scheduled. So of course, for on the online course, that will always be by Zoom. And that's what that kind of, I'm assuming that's what you meant by the tutorial piece of the course. And in the blended program, you will take a couple of courses you will take some of your courses in person. So the tutorial would be the in-person component. And then for the courses that you'll take online in the blended program, what's indicated in the calendar, what you sign up for, you can take a look at the day and when it's offered. That would be the synchronous component of the course. So I hope that answers your question, but you can certainly, if you're wanting more detail about a specific course and how that will be delivered, then you can either contact me or a member of the student advising team. And Brandy, thank you for your question about the additional learning. And yes, there is an upcoming opportunity, grief through a trauma-informed lens. So if you, and the way you can access these are listed on events, and the link to registration is also on that same page. So if you go through the social work website, that's the way that you can access those. And I had just provided some examples, but there's a number, what's offered really varies throughout the year. Those are just 3 examples of upcoming workshops, but there's certainly many others offered throughout the year. So I'll see if I can grab that right now and post the link in the website while others are thinking of other questions. And feel free to grab the mic too if you would like to. On Zoom, there's a little hand raising function under reactions at the bottom of the screen. And that gives you, the option to raise your hand if you'd like to take the mic. So feel free to use that function as well. And Brandy, I would say that most, because we do serve students from across Alberta, a large number of our professional development opportunities are offered online. Madeline, that's a great question. The online classes are offered through Zoom. You do have access to Microsoft Teams through Outlook, but Zoom is the primary mode for teaching, because it does have a number of more functions. I certainly find as an instructor that Zoom has a lot more features that we can use for teaching. It has the breakout room function, and you'll be interacting with your course colleagues, both in large group discussion format on Zoom, but also small group discussions. And that breakout room function really allows for that. So it's really Zoom offers you those opportunities for interaction, for small group work. And even if you're working on a group project, your instructors may create breakout rooms for you to actually work during class time on group projects. And in the background here, I'm just trying to locate the workshops, and so I can show you how you might go about registering for those. Just bear with me for a moment and I'll bring that up on the screen. Okay, so I found that. I'm just going to bring that up on the screen here. So here we see, from if you go onto the Faculty of Social Work main page, if you scroll down, that's where you'll see upcoming events. So, here's that grief and adjustment through trauma informed lens. If you click on that, click on register here, you can see there's available spots here. So if you click then on available, then it'll bring up. You can add to cart. It may trigger you here to create an account, but you can add that to your cart. Check out, but you'll see, under course fees, there's no charge for it, but you actually still have to register for it. So it gives you a bit more information about the workshop here. And then because I have an account already, it's not asking me to create one, but you may, be asked to create a registration account. So that's how that works. And, you can always come back to the main page. You can see kind of the range of what's offered here. And then if you check back regularly, then you'll see more of what's kind of coming up. So they're the grand rounds, which are, if you're planning to go into clinical practice, definitely worth checking these ones out. And that's kind of what's coming up for now. You probably won't see a lot in this in July and August, but many more coming up in September. And definitely, Madeline, I would end up, I would recommend checking in with the student advising team about those tutorials. And I can put my email in the chat window as well, and I can check for you kind of offline into a specific course and tell you what that means. Danielle, great question. How many students are in the online social work classes? So roughly we'll have 35 to 40 people in our BSW classes. And it kind of depends on how many people register for each section, but that's approximately how many you can expect. Audrey, great question. For the diploma transfer students, is there 1 week a year that you have to attend in person for lab purposes? Is this still part of the redesigned curriculum? And no, there is no longer a in-person requirement. For your, depending on which electives you take, it's possible that you could take an in-person class if you wanted to, but you're not required to come to campus. Currently, we have the virtual learning circle program, which is primarily delivered online, and I think this is the one you're speaking to. But those students currently come for 5 days per year to do an in-person course, but that's no longer required of you in the online program. But there are online opportunity or in-person opportunities to take workshops, to take perhaps elective courses if you so choose, but it's not required. And Madeline, you're asking about block weight courses. So block weight courses happen in the first week of the fall semester and the first week of the winter semester. So you're looking at kind of that before the term starts. You'll see in the university calendar there is a block weight course. Quite often those courses do involve some pre-reading and will involve some work after the week to complete assignments. But as far as the in-person part, they're typically all day, every day for that week. But what it allows you to do is kind of complete a course in a week and then move on. And, if you want a lighter course load in your fall or winter terms, then you can accomplish that by taking that kind of in-person component of the course, either in that first week of September or first week of January. And it varies year to year as to what's offered there. Those are typically our elective courses. Those are always our elective or option courses that are offered during that time. The core required courses are offered in kind of the standard full semester format. And we have, I know one that historically has been very popular is the Indigenous Healing Practices course that's offered that every day for a week. So it's more immersive in nature because of course you're taking the course all day every day. So some courses actually work very well that way for that reason. Hey, any other questions? These are all wonderful questions, and since we do have a redesign program, your questions are actually really helpful in informing us about what information that we could be providing for students that are joining our programs in the fall. So I'm sure if you're wondering, others will be as well. Brandy, please go ahead, and you're welcome to take the mic.
Hi, I just had one more question. So with practicum, because I'm coming from a diploma program, we've had the 3 terms of practicum with our program. Are we able to do it if we're working full-time already? Are we allowed to do our practicum placement at our place of employment?
And there are some options there, but there are also some very kind of guidelines, and I think that's something that I would need to connect you with the practicum team about. Because just to go into it, that's kind of I guess there's some kind of complex rules around that I think it'll be important to connect the practicum team with. But having said that, that has been done before. There's just some particular ways that you have to go about organizing that. So if I may take your name, then I'd be happy to connect you with the practicum team, and they could explain what the options are there.
That would be great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think and it's well worth kind of looking into the details now, so that when that year comes, then you can kind of be fully informed about what your options are in pursuing something with your workplace. So Brandy, I'm just going to write down your name. And I'm also at the same time, I'm going to put my email in the chat window. And it's a lowercase c. It's not letting me put that in for some reason. Let's see. So I put my email as well in the chat window, but Brandy, perhaps after this session, I can just connect with you via email. Have you got a UCalgary email set up yet?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah, so happy to do that, because I think, yeah, if you plan on that, it's well worth kind of looking into to see exactly how to go about that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to welcome all of you to the program, and we do a more kind of formal, lengthy orientation in the fall, so that'll be another opportunity to meet you all. Hey, any further questions? Give you a moment to think on that. Anyone care to share their interests in practicum, or what they're kind of looking forward to about learning in the BSW program? Well, those are heavy questions for a Saturday morning. Madeline, you can start getting the textbooks when the course outlines are available. So that's when that information will come up, and you won't actually see the course outlines posted until later in July and into August. But the textbooks will be indicated in the course outlines. Some instructors will have already notified the bookstores, so you can check as in the UCalgary online with the bookstore to see any textbooks have been registered, and you're certainly welcome to purchase them in advance if you choose to do that. But if not before, you can definitely get that information from the course outlines that will be posted on the faculty website in kind of mid-July and beyond. Again, thank you for sharing, Brandy, what your clinical designation and your aspirations to do counseling. That's very exciting, and definitely we do have a pathway in that direction for folks who are wanting to pursue clinical work in the profession, and many graduates that have successfully done that. And you might be able to customize your practicum accordingly. And Audrey, thank you for sharing about your interest in working in correctional facility. Certainly practicums have been offered in some of our local correctional facilities across Alberta. There have been some pretty amazing practicums actually there. So, and that's one of the examples of where they have quite a distinct process for the application to those practicums. So that'll be something that you could ask the field education team about how to proceed with that. I hope that this information session has provided you with some new information that you didn't already have, and yeah, and that you'll feel welcome and part of the faculty when you start your BSW program. We're really excited about this new program and welcoming our fall 2024 students to the programs. And even if you didn't ask a question today, but you think of one, I encourage you to reach out to either myself or our student advising team. And I'm sure that things will come to mind in the months ahead that you're wondering about. So always feel like you can reach out and get the information you need. And yeah, I just hope that your program is as life-changing for you as mine was for me. I did all of my programs at the University of Calgary, including my social work program. So you might say that University of Calgary feels like home to me. And two, if you have questions about other parts of the university, you'll be also joining the University of Calgary larger community. So lots of exciting opportunities with the University of Calgary itself. Lots of programs and services to discover and so on. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that, Audrey. I was provided with that link by the organizers of this event, so I'm not sure what happened, but thank you for trying to access it anyways. If it's not taking you anywhere, there's not much you can really do about that, but I appreciate that you made that effort to connect with the survey. So perhaps it will be available later today. Not sure what happened there, but thank you for letting me know. And again, really appreciate you taking some time from your Saturday to join to learn about the BSW program. And it's lovely to meet you, and thank you for being here this morning. I'll hang out here for a little bit longer if anyone has individual questions they'd like to ask. But I think that will conclude our information session for today. Thank you so much and have a great weekend.